I used to hate being corrected, but now I see things a little differently. Hi, my name is Ritu. I am 35 years old and welcome to my channel. Oh, that's Ritu. In my channel, we talk about all the things that I find interesting, that I'm learning, and the things that I like to think about. So let's go ahead and dive a little deeper into this concept of being corrected and why that does not feel good. I think being corrected implies a couple of things personally to me. Firstly, I used to think that being corrected means I am not doing enough and I don't know enough, and nobody likes to feel stupid, right? Yeah, nobody likes to feel stupid. Secondly, I used to be very defensive when people corrected me because it almost felt like they were attacking me. But my perspective have changed a little bit, and let me tell you what made that change. I'm taking a class which is basically a critical thinking class but for consumer health. So you're basically thinking consumer health in a critical way. So in this class, I learned about competence and disposition. Competence basically means what I can do. So things like learning, cooking, practicing, studying, making mistakes, getting better at it, things like that. While disposition is how I learn. So it's basically your mindset, okay? So I know nobody likes being corrected because it always feels like there is something that you don't know, but it is also okay and it's also very important to admit that you were wrong and try to learn to get better, right? Because if you have a sucky mindset, then you're not going to get better at things, right? And I'm telling this to myself as I'm telling you guys this. And one of the reasons that I'm telling this is like a lot of my life, in my class, I was always the smartest one. Being the eldest child, I always knew a lot out of my siblings, right? Like all those things it went to my head and it made me believe that I know it all. And to most part, I did in my circle, right? But sooner or later, you're gonna cross paths with people who are even more smarter than you. But instead of just being smarter, these people have very different skills. And this skill is learning to say that they don't know. That's a very important skill. And that really dives back into this concept of disposition, because disposition is your mindset, right? Learning to take a feedback and learning to look at evidence and saying that like, oh, what I initially thought was completely wrong. So yeah, like now my thought pattern has changed, right? And it's a very important skill that I think everybody should learn, including me, and which I'm very grateful that I'm learning about this, and I will try my very best to continue to work towards it. But I think both of those skills are very important because it is very important to build a skill. You need to be competent, right? To do things, to get things done. Competence is very important. But while having the competence, you completely deny when you're wrong. That is not okay. That is just arrogant. That is just being defensive and saying like, yeah, I know you're right, but guess what? I'm just going to be petty and just going to hold on to this grudge and not admit that I am wrong. So, yes, nobody likes being corrected, including me, but it is okay to have some humility. And in this position, I think this humility is called intelligent humility. I don't know if that's a thing, I just made it up, but it would actually work in your own benefit. If you just go ahead and admit that you didn't know, you were wrong, then you can try to get better at it, right? Then over time, the things that you were wrong, now they are right because you accepted that they were wrong. So people taught you or you learned from it. So there you go. It's a win-win. So at the end of the day, yeah, nobody likes being corrected, but it is okay to be corrected as a mature human being. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching my video. I will see you next time.